After 4 arduous decades under the sparkling sobriquet Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson's universe has crashed to the ground. In accordance with royal sources, Fergie now teeters on the brink of a nervous breakdown. A lady who giggled through scandal and grinned through shame, suddenly bereft of all that provided her existence with shape, her title, her dignity, and possibly even the trust of her family. At the eye of the storm is Royal Lodge, the Windsor home she still shares with her former husband, Prince Andrew. Once a symbol of royal stability, the mansion has apparently descended into a house of chaos and heartbreak. Friends describe a strained, tear-filled environment, raised voices, slammed doors, and a distinct feeling that something in the York family has irreparably broken. When the dramatic news broke that Andrew and Sarah would henceforth no longer employ their royal titles, Fergie completely unraveled, sources state. She implored Andrew not to do it. She asked for time, for compromise, for clemency. But King Charles had already spoken. The era of royal permissiveness was done. What ensued, insiders say, was one of the most teary-eyed family battles in contemporary royal history. On Monday morning, Princess Beatrice came to Royal Lodge in a state of clear distress, pale, tired, her normally serene face replaced with subdued panic. Witnesses describe her hair hastily pulled back, her movements slow and staccato. Inside, she discovered her mother in tears and her father barricaded. A family self-detonating behind closed doors. As words rang out in the great halls, a raw truth became apparent. Sarah Ferguson lost something more than a title. She lost her identity. For almost 40 years, the term Duchess was not an ornament. It was her armor, her modesty, her identity. It unlocked doors, bankrolled schemes, and bestowed her purpose long after her royal union was over. Without it, what was she? It was utter chaos that day, according to a close friend. Sarah, it was said, cried uncontrollably upon breaking down into tears when Andrew told her of the king's edict. Andrew was himself sandwiched in between, blindsided by pressure from his brother to relinquish the title, but too frail to overcome. In a hasty decision, Andrew signed off on releasing the official statement without even checking with his daughters. And when Beatrice and Eugenie discovered this, they were shocked. The sisters, who were once fiercely loyal to both their parents, now found themselves torn between love and shame. Eugenie, unable to bear the tension, avoided the family meeting altogether. Sources said she was too distraught to join the family summit, a move that said plenty about just how broken the Yorks had become. As one insider explained to the Daily Mail, the family that stood together during scandal is now utterly shattered, and the fallout didn't remain behind palace walls. Within hours of the news breaking, Sarah Ferguson's world started to fall apart in full public view. Large charities that had previously welcomed her name, such as Julia's House and Teenage Cancer Trust, started discreetly disassociating themselves. The woman who had once used her title to make a difference was now toxic. The cameras caught the aftermath. Beatrice, visibly shaken, was photographed leaving Royal Lodge in her black Range Rover, eyes red, her hands gripping the wheel. Just a day earlier, she'd been seen at a children's playground, trying to appear normal, talking on the phone, but clearly distraught. Friends say she confessed she couldn't even bring herself to read the Sunday papers, terrified of what new humiliation might be splashed across the headlines, since the headlines were brutal. Sarah's email controversy already had her reputation in tatters. But now, fresh revelations about Prince Andrew's supposed conduct were reopening all the sores, pulling the whole York clan back into the doldrums. Prince Andrew, naturally, is denying everything leveled at him. But as royal observers are aware, denial doesn't halt the news cycle. It fuels it, and this week, it devoured greedily. New findings exposed a chain of emails associated with Andrew, deeper questioning his behavior, his finances, and how he continues to live at the sprawling 30-room Royal Lodge after falling from grace. And here's the burning question many are asking in Britain. Why is Prince Andrew continuing to live rent-free in a royal palace? And where did that enigmatic £8 million in 2005 actually come from? Because as the Daily Mail tells us, there is no indication of a large inheritance from the late Queen or Queen Mother. So, if the royal coffers did not pay for it, who did? It's one that goes to the heart of royal accountability, and one that promises to reveal cracks not only in the York family, but in the monarchy as a whole. As if losing her title wasn't bad enough, fresh cracks are now beginning to appear in places Sarah Ferguson never dreamed were possible, her daughters' lives. The palace insiders say that even Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie's finances are being examined now. Royal officials have allegedly initiated low-key ethics checks into the sisters' business investments, hell-bent on making sure that not a single thread can be traced back to their father's contentious associates. For two women who have struggled to create decent lives of their own, this is humiliating. They are not guilty of anything, but the baggage of their parents' scandals travels with them everywhere, a shadow they can never quite move beyond. Royal expert Ingrid Seward said it straight out when she talked to the Daily Mail. Renouncing their titles could be the only solution to safeguard their reputations. And maybe she's correct. Giving up those royal titles would finally cut the connection, that intangible link that perpetually binds Beatrice and Eugenie to their parents' tumult. It would free them to be independent women, critiqued on their own merits rather than their surname. But naturally, that liberty would not come cheaply, because since the day they were born, Beatrice and Eugenie have grown up enveloped in privilege, raised in an existence of glinting silver, flashing gowns, and easy prerogative. Their parents, Sarah and Andrew, monetized royal notoriety as a business venture. Endorsements, TV contracts, remunerated magazine covers, even baby snaps sold to the media for hundreds of thousands of pounds. Picture yourself, as a child, living in a house where your face, your smile, your own childhood experiences were worth something. Even Sarah herself used to tell us that she'd want her girls to be grown-up, creative, and imaginative. She would always speak about being a writer of children's books. But what fairy tale do you write when the palace walls are constructed out of scandal? With time, Eugenie and Beatrice reaped the financial benefits of their royal monikers. Exotic vacations, expensive gifts, invitations to rub shoulders with the wealthy and powerful all came their way effortlessly. But some of those shiny networking associations would eventually take a turn for the worse. The sisters now lead independent, successful lives, at least outwardly, but the skeletons of their parents' choices still linger in their footsteps. Princess Beatrice, now CEO of her own company and a private equity analyst, has established a presence in international finance. She's been spotted in Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar at top-level investment conferences, seen in pictures with powerful royals and tycoons. Her firm, BEQ, allegedly grew in value several times over last year. Princess Eugenie, on the other hand, forged her own trail in the art scene. As a gallery director, she's established herself as a recognizable figure in the Middle East as well, gracing cultural events and charity events. The press adores them. They've even been christened the King's Secret Weapons, emblazoned across shiny magazine front pages as the stylish nieces who might modernize the monarchy's image. But beneath the praise, insiders within the palace are quietly apprehensive. Secret weapons or not, their commercial connections and international dealings may one day spark another royal scandal, something the crown simply cannot do without at this moment. Because if there's one thing King Charles dreads, it's another reputational blaze. The monarchy is still simmering after decades of scandal, and the Yorks are the family branch most apt to fan the flames. And at the heart of it all sits Sarah Ferguson, waiting for the empire she constructed, her brand, her family, her dignity, to come crashing down. Friends report that her breakdown has been total. The erstwhile lively, talk show smiling Duchess is now reported to be an emotionally drained woman. Between her recent battle with cancer, the failure of her philanthropic endeavors, and the savage stripping of her title, Fergie has reached a new low after decades. Her sister Jane is said to have flown from Australia to support her. But friends of the family claim Sarah hardly ever eats, hardly ever goes out of Royal Lodge, and spends most of her day crying. The woman who once branded herself the Phoenix does not seem able to rise again, and the royal family isn't assisting. Behind palace doors, courtiers now speak in hushed tones of what was previously unimaginable, that the York brand is now poisonous. She once was the feisty outsider who added heat to the Windsors. Now she's the warning. King Charles, being the master strategist he is alleged to be doing everything in his power to protect Beatrice and Eugenie, shielding them from the fall of their parents. After all, as one source indicated, the girls shouldn't pay for the sins of the parents, but that only protects them thus far, because Sarah's hurt is deeper than tabloids or titles. Those who are closest to her talk about her as being hysterical, frantic, tormented by betrayal. Abandoned by Andrew, who promised to give up his titles without so much as asking her permission. Betrayed by the charities that abandoned her when scandal hit. Betrayed by the royal establishment that once endured her, but now finally closed its doors. In the meantime, her daughters are left struggling through the debris. Two women struggling with love for their mother and a need to guard their own futures. Friends say that while Beatrice and Eugenie are still close, they are each privately heartbroken, and their husbands have been said to advise them to maintain a safe distance from Royal Lodge, fearing any attachment could taint their own reputations as well. Within Buckingham Palace, judgment is absolute. There can be no change of heart with Andrew. The former offbeat, lovable York family is now officially a burden. And so, the dust settles on that incendiary family gathering. Sarah Ferguson alone in the mansion, where once there rang laughter, gazing at the now faded traces of a royal existence which she can no longer reach. Her crown is lost. Her credibility lies in shreds. Her daughters are wandering toward adulthood. She was the Phoenix for years, the woman who continually arose from the ashes of controversy. But now those ashes are cold. She is 65 and facing her darkest moment. A woman watching her legacy crumble before the world. The gilded existence that formerly enveloped her has turned its back. Her daughters' futures are in doubt, and even her own face seems strange to her. Friends murmur that this can be the last unraveling, not simply of Sarah Ferguson's public persona, but of her very soul, because this isn't another shocker of a scandal. This is the breakdown of a woman who thought she could weather anything, and who is now facing the loss she might never overcome, the loss of her royal status, her family's cohesion, and the life she fought so hard to maintain. So what do you believe? Is there still some embers of fire left in the ashes of the Duchess of York? Or are we seeing in real time the crash of a woman who once flouted every rule the crown established for her? Let me know your thoughts below. And if you want to continue to follow the breakdown of this royal saga, be sure that you're subscribed and the bell's on. The next chapter may be even darker than this one.